The rotors were still spinning when they left me on the tarmac. Jet fumes, hot wind, and her voice, cold and amused, cutting through the roar. "Have fun," she said, and then the door shut. Their laughter was muffled behind the glass as the jet rolled forward. My wife, the CEO, and her board of polished wolves. They didn't look back. None of them ever do. I stood there, tie undone, hand still half raised, as if I could stop the plane with will alone. But I didn't move, didn't shout, didn't plead. I just watched them leave because I knew what they didn't, that they had just taken off on borrowed wings. I met Claire 8 years ago, back when I still believed in loyalty more than leverage. She was brilliant, ruthless in her ambition, but disarming in charm. The kind of woman who could make a merger sound like romance. We built everything together. I handled the skeleton of her empire. Infrastructure, patents, code, the proprietary software that made her tech firm impossible to replicate. She handled the face, press, investors, strategy. We were perfect until success made her forget who wrote the algorithms that powered her throne. When she started spending late nights with the board, I didn't ask questions. I already knew the answer. Betrayal rarely announces itself. It leaks in through silence. I kept my voice calm, my movements slower, my eyes sharper. The truth came quietly through a misrouted email on her encrypted server. A forwarded message not meant for me. Subject line, transitioning leadership. Post-resignation announcement. My name was already listed as former CTO. They had forged my resignation letter. The timestamp was 2 hours before a flight I was supposed to board with them to close our biggest deal yet. She was going to cut me out midair, literally remove me from my company, my name, my life. Somewhere between takeoff and champagne. I didn't rage. I documented, downloaded every internal record I could reach. Patent proofs, API logs, off-book payments, all time-stamped and traceable. I rerouted her data backups through a secondary cloud node, my own, encrypted and invisible. While she thought she was deleting me from the system, I was rewriting her version of the truth. Then I did something she'd never imagined. I resigned publicly from her company's official domain, sent to every investor, every partner, every journalist I knew by first name. But my letter contained more than words. It included links, evidence enough to show how her board had funneled funds through offshore shells, inflated valuations, manipulated stock buybacks before going public. All signed under her authority. I set it to go live the moment her private jet hit 10,000 feet. She thought she was ascending. I knew she was falling. 10 minutes after her takeoff, my phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Reed, the voice trembled. This is Victor Lang from Arcton Capital. What's going on? Our shares are plummeting. News says you resigned. Who is she? I smiled, watching the stock ticker bleed red across my screen. Ask your CEO, I said. She just took off. I hung up. The flight lasted 42 minutes. By the time they landed, her empire had lost 80% of its market cap. The SEC had already issued a suspension notice. Investors were pulling funding. Journalists were digging through the data I'd spoon-fed them. I knew the moment she realized it when my phone buzzed again. Ethan, she whispered. Voice cracked from disbelief. What did you do? Nothing you didn't start, I said. I trusted you. I almost laughed. No, you used me. Big difference. Then I ended the call. They tried damage control, board statements, press releases, all lies. But it was too late. The algorithms I wrote handled automation for their entire financial back end. When the board fired me, they lost access to its command protocols. Their systems started flagging fraud in real time, broadcasting it publicly. The code they built their empire on became their confession. Within a day, the headlines read, Tech Giant Implodes. Amid internal scandal. CEO missing from press conference. I didn't hide. I didn't mean to. The world loves a fall from grace, especially one televised in real time. That evening, I stood outside our house, her house now, as moving trucks idled by the curb. I'd already signed over my half of the assets to the foundation we built in name only. It wasn't pity, it was symmetry. Let her drown in the ruins she thought she owned. Through the window, I saw her sitting on the stairs barefoot, makeup streaked, watching her reflection in the dark glass. She didn't notice me. Maybe she thought I'd come in, comfort her, fix it all again like before. But I didn't move. Some lessons need to echo. People think revenge is about anger. It's not. It's about balance. A quiet, mathematical correction. The moment when betrayal meets precision. I didn't destroy her out of spite. I simply removed myself and watched everything she built without me collapse under its own arrogance. Weeks later, the news moved on. Another scandal replaced hers. Another empire fell. But every now and then her name surfaces in whispers. Disgraced CEO. Investigation ongoing. Assets frozen. And sometimes I imagine her seeing my name on the patent filings she tried to erase. Still standing. Still attached to the innovation that started it all. The world thinks I vanished after resigning. They're not wrong. I prefer silence now, the kind that hums between power lines and revenge. I built something new, quieter, smarter, untouchable. And if she ever reads this, I hope she finally understands what I meant when I warned her on that tarmac. Don't do this. Because when you betray a man who built your wings, you shouldn't be surprised when you fall mid-flight.